So let us take a two-dimensional stress analysis. So two-dimensional state of stress, we can represent it on any element like this. So having normal stresses on the two planes, because it is two-dimensional stress analysis, it will be having two planes in its plane, and these are the normal stresses acting, and the shear stress will be along the plane. So always on any plane, this you know from your applied mechanics, on any plane if you have a number of forces acting, the resultant stress will be one normal stress and one tangential or shear stress. So in the case of one-dimensional stress analysis, there won't be any shear or tangential force, there will be only normal force. At any section if you take, the stress will be only normal stress. Whereas in two-dimensional state of stress, there will be two normal stress in general and one tangential stress. So the two-dimensional state of stress, you can always represent by a tensor in this fashion: sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy, where tau xy is the tangential stress or shear stress, and sigma x and sigma y are the normal state of stresses. Whereas in one-dimensional, it is only sigma x. In three-dimensional, it is 3 by 3. Sigma x, sigma y, sigma z along the diagonal, and tau xy, tau yz, tau zx, and tau xz. That particular thing. In three-dimensional state of stress, you can always represent like this. Three state of stress, three stresses: tau xy, tau xz, tau yz, tau yx, and tau zx, tau zy. This is the state of stress in three-dimensional analysis representation. So we can always represent three-dimensional state of stress like this. There will be three planes: one plane sigma x, another sigma y, that is top and bottom, here right and left, and this is side, front and rear. If you take this is sigma z, and tau xy will be in this. Here on this tau xy, tau y, and tau x, z. If you take this as x-axis, this as y-axis, this as z-axis, then normal stresses along x, y, z axis are denoted by sigma x, sigma y, sigma z, and two shear stresses in the plane, so are represented as tau xy, tau xz. So this notation is the first subscript in this tau shear stress always represent normal to the plane. This is normal x direction, that is normal to the plane, and shear will be acting in the direction y on a plane for which normal is x. That's the notation we use. Tau xy is nothing but shear stress in the direction of y-axis on a plane for which normal is x direction. Similarly, tau xz is the shear force along z-axis. Here it is y, here it is z. Y and z are the tangential stresses for normal x. So that is the notation we use. So that of course three-dimensional stress analysis is not there. You can forget it. In the three-dimensional stress analysis, we have three normal stresses and two shear stresses along each direction. Out of these two shear stresses, one is complementary to the other. So out of 6 shear stress, it will reduce to 3. Tau xy, tau z, xz, tau yz. Here you can see that particular thing in detail. For two-dimensional on similar lines, only you have two normal stresses, sigma x, sigma y, and one shear stress, tau xy. Here, as I explained, the notation, this we call it as tau, strictly speaking, this I have to say 2yx, and this I have to say tau xy. This tau yx, and this is tau xy. This is what we have to use the notation, tau yx. This is tau yx, this is tau xy, tau xy. So this is tau xy means it is the shear stress acting along y direction on a plane for which normal is x. That you have to be careful. This first notation always represents the plane on which that shear is acting. The plane is represented by the normal to the plane. Here, this is the vertical plane for which normal is x direction. So this shear is acting in y direction on a plane for which normal is x. So that is tau yx. That is the notation, tau yx or tau xy, you can use it. First you represent normal, then you represent direction in which force is acting. Same thing here. Here this has to be tau yx. It is the plane on which, for which normal is y, and it is acting in the x direction. This tau xy is always equal to tau yx, because for this to be in equilibrium, this normal stress will be equal to this normal stress, sigma x equals 0. This normal stress will be equal to this normal stress, sigma y is 0. And this tau yx, they will be equal and opposite. It will be 0. This also it will be 0. But this gives a moment in clockwise direction. This has to give a moment in the anti-clockwise direction. That is why these two should be acting in the opposite direction, I told. So they are complementary to each other. This tau yx into this, that is the moment that should be equal to tau xy in this moment. So this should be equal because we are taking this thickness constant or equal. So that is why we say this tau xy is tau yx and only one shear stress. This is the state of two-dimensional stress which has already been told to you in the theory class. Here I am going to take up this two-dimensional stress analysis by graphical method, that is called using Mohr circle. So that is our topic now. Here I am not going to much into the detail of two-dimensional stress analysis theoretically, which only thing now you have to remember, a two-dimensional state of stress is always represented by an element wherein it is subjected to stresses as shown in figure. This is two-dimensional state of stress. State of stress, which consists of two normal stresses, sigma x, sigma y, and one shear stress. And you know, theoretically, so when you have this state of stress on any plane within the element which is inclined at an angle theta with the vertical, this is very, very important, with the vertical. If you take any plane within the element, then again, as I told you, on this element there will be two stresses. One is normal stress, another tangential stress, and those stresses are given by that sigma n. Normal stress, this is sigma t. Tangential stress, they are given by this sigma n because sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into cos 2 theta plus tau xy sin 2 theta. This is the value of the resultant normal stress on any plane within the element which is making an angle theta with the vertical. Similarly, the tangential stress is given by sigma t equals sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into sin 2 theta minus 2xy cos 2 theta. So this is the state of stress on any plane within the body or within the element itself. This has already been derived in your theory. Has it been done?
Yes.
So this you can derive it by simple resolution of these forces on this plane. You will get this. Then we define a plane, what is known as principal plane. The two-dimensional state of stress analysis consists of finding normal and tangential stresses at any plane within the element, making an angle theta. That is one problem, one type of problem. Another type of problem in the two-dimensional state of stress analysis is to evaluate what is known as principal plane and principal stress and maximum shear stress. These are the things which you have to arrive at in the two-dimensional stress analysis. Two-dimensional stress analysis means given a state of stress in two dimensions on any element, to find the state of stress, that is normal stress and tangential stress on any plane within the element, and also to find out a principal plane in the element. That principal plane we define as a plane wherein the shear stress is always zero. That means only a normal stress will be acting. Because here I told, on any plane within the element, there will be two states of stress, normal stress and tangential stress. So you will find a plane within the element on which there won't be any tangential stress at all, pure normal stress. And that particular plane is called principal plane, right? Wherein the tangential stress will be zero, only normal stress will be active, because that is the critical state of stress or design state of stress. So for any two-dimensional stress analysis, we have to find out the maximum normal stress. That maximum normal stress is nothing but maximum principal stress. So that is the idea. So in the two-dimensional analysis, in the beam also you have seen, finding how the maximum bending moment, maximum shear force. Likewise here, maximum normal stress and maximum tangential shear stress you have to find out during two-dimensional analysis. Analysis of two-dimensional stress means to find out the maximum normal stress and maximum shear stress. Maximum normal stress always occurs on a plane within the element which is called principal plane. That definition also might have already been told to you in the class. Here I will just define, again it's a repetition. The principal plane is defined as a plane wherein the tangential stress, or shear stress is zero, and only normal stress will be acting on the plane. And this principal plane you have to determine, and the stress, that is normal stress only will be acting, and that normal stress we call it as the principal stress. So is the is defined as the stress acting on principal plane. Stress acting on principal plane. That is called principal stress. Actually, there will be two principal planes. One plane, whatever you determine from your analysis, another plane exactly at 180 degrees from that. Because it is a two-dimensional thing. Here you are seeing sigma y is here positive, another exactly equal and opposite will be there on the other side. So there will be two sets for each stress. Same thing here also. Principal plane is one plane on which the maximum shear stress will be 0. There will be another plane wherein minimum shear stress will be 0, and that we call it as the another minor principal plane. Similarly, there will be two normal stresses. One is major normal principal stress, another minor normal principal stress. And this principal stress is denoted by the symbol sigma 1 and sigma 2. This is called, first one, sigma 1 is called major principal stress, and which you have derived in the class as, which is given by sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus square root of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy square, and sigma 2, which we call it as the minor principal stress, and which is given by same formula. Only thing is now plus we have minus, so sigma x plus sigma y by 2 minus square root of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 square plus tau xy square. This is major principal stress, this is minor principal stress, and these stress and the plane on which these stresses are acting is defined as principal plane, and that principal plane will be inclined at an angle theta with vertical given by tan 2 theta is given by 2 tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y. That inclination of the plane on which only normal stress will be acting and no shear stress, and that plane you can determine from that. Because this is on any plane. You can go on finding a different plane, and you will arrive at a plane on which there won't be any shear stress, and that particular plane is called the principal plane, and stresses acting on them are called principal stresses. So in the analysis, two-dimensional analysis, you have to determine major principal plane and principal stress. Also, maximum shear stress. Maximum shear stress, that is tangential stress, tau max, and that is given by sigma x minus sigma y by 2. That is not sigma x minus sigma y by 2, that is sigma 1 minus sigma 2 divided by 2. Major principal stress minus minor principal stress divided by 2, that is the maximum shear stress. So in the two-dimensional stress analysis, we have to find maximum shear stress developed on account of the stresses, state of stress, and maximum normal stress, that is this major principal stress, and also the plane on which this maximum stress will be acting, that is principal plane in other words, also the plane on which shear stress, maximum shear stress will be acting. These are the things which you have to do in two-dimensional stress analysis. So they will give a problem wherein stresses are marked. The stresses either we can mark only normal stresses or only shear stresses or general state of stress consisting of two normal stress and shear stress. It is this. This is the general state of stress, two-dimensional state of stress. In particular, we can have only sigma x, sigma y, no tau xy, or only tau xy, no normal stress. Because two-dimensional means there must be two stresses, two normal stress or one tangential stress. So this same problem, analytically, which you have solved in class, so we are here solving it graphical method, which we call it as Mohr's circle method, by Mohr's circle, which is a graphical method. So the given state of stress is represented in a two-dimensional graph sheet, and you can calculate without any calculation. You can arrive at the major principal stress, maximum shear stress, and the plane on which the main principal stresses are acting. That is, in other words, the principal plane. As well as given any plane inclined at an angle theta, how to find normal and tangential stress. All these things, sigma n, sigma t on any plane, and principal plane, that is that inclination with normal, with vertical, and principal stress and maximum shear stress. All these things we can determine graphically by Mohr's circle. That is about this subject matter, what I am telling. These are all what you have already studied in your theory class. So I will take an example, general state of stress, and I will explain how to solve the problem graphically. So after solving graphically same problem, you can solve it by theoretical equation also. You can compare your results, thereby this particular topic will be closed. Now I will take up a problem. Find the major and minor principal stress, principal stresses, and maximum shear stress develop on account of a two-dimensional state of stress shown in figure by Mohr's circle. So theoretically also can determine. So you have to remember all these equations, and for calculating theoretically what is the state of maximum stress and maximum normal stress and shear stress. Now we will do it by graphically. So here the problem is the state of stress. I will give it. It consists of a normal stress given by 50 kilonewton per square meter. This is tensile. This also 50, it has to be equal. And I will take another stress 40 Newton per millimeter square, either kilonewton per square meter or newtons per millimeter square, whatever it is. I will take here now a compression stress like this, 40, 40. And shear stress. I will take a shear stress. Here it is 20 Newton per millimeter square. When a shear stress is here, to keep this in equilibrium, there must be equal and opposite shear stress here. So that is 20 here. So this will give a clockwise movement. To keep this in equilibrium, there must be another two state of shear stress.
So it's in reverse then.
Reverse. this is like this, so it has to be like this. So this is also 20 Newton per meter square. This is also 20. And this is also 20. So this is the state of stress given. So first we have to make sure the given state of stress in a stress block like this, it will be in equilibrium. Then only you can proceed with your analysis. So otherwise, you cannot proceed with your analysis. Here this is perfectly in equilibrium because this is sigma x, here it is 50 tensile, here also it is tensile but in opposite direction. So this 50 will cancel. Similarly, this is compression, 40 like this. Now here this is also compression, in the opposite direction it will nullify. So it is in equilibrium, this stress block. Then this shear stress, it will give a clockwise moment within the element. So it is called positive shear. So because as I told you, this is a graphical method, so we have to bother about this sign convention because we have to plot it exactly on the positive side and negative side of the Cartesian coordinate system. Same thing even in your theoretical analysis also. You have to clearly take positive and negative. All tensile force, arrow moving away from the block, it is tensile. Arrow moving towards the block, it is compression, negative. And arrow in case of tangential stress, giving clockwise movement within the block, it is positive, otherwise negative. So here, this is arrow moving away, positive. Here, arrow moving towards, so this is negative. Here, this shear, it gives clockwise movement within the element, so this is positive. Whereas this shear, it is anti-clockwise movement, that is negative. So when you are plotting this shear, you have to plot it on the negative side. This shear, you have to plot it on the positive side. And this normal stress, you have to plot it on positive side, and this, you have to plot it on the negative side. So given a state of stress, first you have to ascertain clearly whether given normal stresses are positive or negative, given tangential or shear stresses are positive or negative, depending upon whether they give clockwise moment or anti-clockwise moment about any point within the element inside. This you have to ascertain. Same thing, whatever you have. I don't know whether it has been clearly told in the theory, same thing you have to take it. Accordingly, you can substitute all these values for sigma x, sigma y, this is sigma y, this is tau xy. Shear stresses in the theoretical equation, you can substitute those equations, calculate the maximum stress and principal plane, that is tan to theta, that is theta with vertical of the major axis only. Here this is called major stress, this is minor. Major is always with the stress which has higher magnitude, given stress. Now, in Mohr circle, what we do is, we select a Cartesian coordinate system. Cartesian coordinate system means a two-dimensional state of stress. We take a x-axis, horizontal axis, another y-axis, vertical axis. We take two axes, coordinate axes on a graph sheet. Here I have a typical graph sheet. I will select a suitable scale, go on plotting the state of stress. So here, this is the coordinate, Cartesian coordinate I have selected. This is the origin, O is the origin, O-axis, positive x direction. This left side, it is negative direction, OY, that is positive, upward, down, it is negative. So in this Cartesian coordinate system, I will first plot the state of stress. All normal stresses we plot along horizontal direction. So in Mohr circle, That's what you have to do. On normal stresses are plotted on x-axis, and tangential or shear stress is plotted on y-axis. That is first thing to do. In a given Cartesian coordinate system, you plot always normal stresses along x-axis, shear stresses along y-axis. Here, there are two normal stresses. One is sigma x, another sigma y. First, I plot sigma x. So, on this sigma x will be acting on the vertical plane, and sigma y is acting on the horizontal plane, because it's a two-dimensional thing, one vertical plane on the horizontal plane. So first you take vertical plane, what all these stresses which are acting on this vertical plane, one normal stress, positive direction, another shear stress, again positive direction, because this is a clockwise moment, I told you. That is very, very important by plotting. Now I will plot the state of stress on the vertical plane. On the vertical plane, first I will plot normal stress 50. So from here, I will select a suitable scale. I will select, say, 10 Newton per millimeter square is equal to 1 unit in this. So normal stress on the vertical plane is 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will take here 50. This is 50, normal sigma x. Then tau xy on that vertical plane is plus 20. So shear stress I will plot it in the vertical direction. So here this is tau, here this is normal stress sigma, that you have to remember. So this is first on vertical plane, 50 is the normal stress, choosing this scale. This side the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. And shear stress on that vertical plane is plus 20. Plus 20 means here 10, 20 here. So this is the point we have, and that point I will call it as A point, vertical stress acting on the vertical plane, which is equal to sigma x and tau xy. This is sigma x, this is tau xy, both are positive. Next, on other plane, horizontal plane, I will take. What is the normal stress and shear stress? Normal stress is minus 40. Right? If it is plus 40, you plot it on plus side. Now here it is minus 40. I will take this side 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 40. Then shear is 20 anti-clockwise, so I have to plot it down. So this is the point P. A and B are the points in this Cartesian coordinate system which refers to the state of stress given. A represents the stresses acting normal and tangential stresses acting on vertical plane, and B represents the normal and tangential stress acting on the horizontal plane, horizontal and vertical plane. What all the stresses acting, that I will plot it. After plotting this A and B, that's the very first step. You have to be very, very careful. Select a coordinate system, attach positive and negative sign. Accordingly, you plot the state of stress, two-dimensional state of stress acting on horizontal, vertical plane and horizontal plane. First, always we take vertical plane because the horizontal normal stress will be acting on the vertical plane. The vertical normal stress will be acting on the horizontal plane. Always we take first horizontal normal stress. That's why I took the vertical plane on which the state of stress are acting first, then other one, A and B. When once you get these 2 points in this Cartesian coordinate system, you join these 2 points. You join these 2 points. Like this, you join A and B. After joining A and B, you bisect that. It will exactly bisect on the coordinate x-axis, where it cuts the normal stress axis, you just find out. That is the center of Mohr circle, C. That is called center of Mohr circle, which is nothing but sigma x minus sigma y by 2 plus the whole square plus tau xy square. That is the center. Theoretically you can derive. So the center is nothing but sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy square, that square root. That is the center. When once you get this center, with this CA or CB as radius, you draw a circle. You draw a circle like this. This is that circle. You draw a circle. That circle is called Mohr circle. Mohr circle. That's all you have to do. Given a state of 2-dimensional state of stress, first you select a vertical plane, you plot the normal stress and tangential stresses which are acting on that, keeping this sign convention. All tensile normal stress positive, all shear stresses giving clockwise movement about any point within the block positive. That is very, very important. Keeping that in mind, you plot the state of stress first and join those 2 points after plotting that and bisect it with the normal stress axis, and that point C and radius as either the 2 state of stress CA or CB, you draw a circle, and that circle we call it as the Mohr circle. Using this Mohr circle, you can straight away find the major, minor principal stress as well as maximum shear stress. So the maximum shear stress is nothing but maximum shear stress is nothing but the radius of Mohr circle is nothing but radius of Mohr circle. That is nothing but your CA or CB. That is the radius, that itself is the maximum shear stress. No calculation, nothing. Whereas in the theoretical, you are calculating tau max as sigma 1 minus sigma 2. Sigma 1, sigma 2 you have to compute, then you have to arrive at. Here, straight away you will get it. And to find the major principal stress, major principal stress sigma 1. So here you see where this Mohr circle is cutting the sigma axis, that is this. Where it is cutting sigma axis, you find. Here also, there are 2 points where that Mohr circle cuts the sigma axis. One on positive side, another on negative side. Or if there is no negative compression given, both are positive, then you will get 2 points again. One higher positive stress, another lower positive. That's all. That's why it's called as major and minor. So here this is major, and this point we call it as the minor. So with reference to origin, you find out what is its value. Here this value will be from origin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus something. You can measure to the scale and find out it comes to how much you told theoretically. So roughly around 54 point something. Roughly, approximately I would say this is 54 Newton per millimeter square. So that is what sigma 1. Straight away we will get it. Whereas they don't confuse this sigma 1 with this point A. This A has been plotted with that sigma x and tau xy. I have given it here. 2 to code x. Here it is only 1. This is sigma axis, that is tau axis, that is only thing. So this radius of Mohr circle, this also radius. That is nothing but this go to this front one. That itself is your maximum shear. Either CA or CB or this value, which cuts this from the origin. Either you can take this as the radius as this major and minor principal stress, the maximum shear stress, or this value. You can take it as tau max.
49.
This is tau max. Because that itself is radius. Likewise, this is also radius. Right? Both will be equal. Either one can measure positive maximum shear, negative maximum shear. Either radius from this point or from here straight away after plotting Mohr circle. Because when I told Mohr circle, I showed what is the center of that circle, what is the radius here, where how to get it. Whereas this, you can measure it straight away for tau max. Tau max maximum shear stress, which is nothing but sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 from your thing. Theoretical equation that you can just check. This is sigma 1, this is sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 it is. This is sigma 1, this is sigma 2, half of that is the center of
51.5.
that is center of Mohr circle. So that is, I don't know how much.
51.
51, that is, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
51 point.
So maximum shear stress here,
51.5.
51.5.
5.
51.5 Newton per millimeter square. And this is
Sigma
major principal stress.
Minor.
Similarly, minor principal stress, you can find out sigma 2, which is approximately this. As I told you, this is sigma 2.
1, 2,
Oh.
4,
Sigma 2. This
49.
is roughly whatever it is. You can verify this with the theoretical equation given. So here it has been as find major minor principal stress, maximum shear stress developed. I have determined. This is simple, straightforward procedure for doing two-dimensional analysis. Next, the plane, principal plane you have to find out. What is the principal plane? So what you do is, for finding the principal plane, you have to find what is known as origin of plane. So for that, the procedure is you watch, you take this point A. This point A is the state of stress acting on vertical plane. So you draw the plane from this point A on which it is acting. It is a vertical plane. From this A, you draw a vertical line. This is the plane on which that A is acting, vertical plane. Next, you take the other state of stress given, B, which is acting on horizontal plane. So from this point B, you draw a horizontal line. So the intersection of these two on Mohr circle is called origin of plane. OP, origin of plane. Because that's the origin from where the planes, all planes will originate. So here, this A state of stress will be on the vertical plane. This B will be on the horizontal plane. Now for major and minor, you have to find out what is the plane. Major plane, major principal stress plane, minor principal plane. They are normal stresses acting in those. What you do is from this origin of plane, you have plotted sigma 1, you join that. From here, you join that sigma 1 point. That is that. That is your major principal plane on which this sigma 1 will be acting. Then similarly, from this origin of plane, sigma 2 you have arrived at here, so you join that. That is the plane, inclined at some angle with vertical, measured in counterclockwise direction. Here also, this plane with vertical, measured in counterclockwise direction. Whatever the angle which is there, that is what tan theta. So on this, the minor principal stress will be acting. On this, the major principal stress will be acting. So that if you want, you can plot it separately. This is the origin of plane. So you draw a line parallel to that outside. This is that major principal plane, and that is the major principal stress. You draw another line parallel to that. This is origin of plane, OP. So this is the, and of course this is negative, arrow I have to show like this, because this sigma is negative. I have to show arrow like this. And the inclination of this with vertical, I have to measure in counterclockwise direction. That theta. So that is that major principal plane and minor principal plane. And where the maximum shear stress, the plane on which the maximum shear stress will be acting, that again you can find out. So this is the maximum shear stress, this is the origin of plane, you join this. That is the plane on which this maximum shear stress, which is positive, which gives clockwise moment, so direction has to be like that. Right? So the maximum principle is, this is plane of maximum shear. This is plane of major principal stress. This is plane of minor principal stress. So here, this again, with respect to vertical, we can find the inclination always measured in counterclockwise direction. That's all. So this completes your complete theoretical analysis on any plane, theta, inclined at an angle theta, say 30 degrees, find normal stress and shear stress if they ask. Then again, you know origin of plane. With respect to the vertical, you draw that particular line which is inclined at an angle theta 1. Theta 1 with vertical counterclockwise direction. Then you see where it is cutting, then you draw perpendicular to sigma axis find from origin what is the normal stress, sigma n. Find this.
Sigma.
That will be sigma t. That's all. Again, all this origin of plane is the major thing. On any plane, inclined plane, if they ask find maximum normal stress and tangential
Tangential
stress,
stress at angle.
simply from that origin of plane, draw line with incline that angle theta 1 given, see where it is cutting, with respect to that point, find out normal and shear stress.
Sigma
That
n
will
and
be
sigma
your sigma n and sigma t on any plane. So all that equation, whatever I have given earlier, on any plane, inclined at an angle theta, what is sigma n and sigma t? So that you can find out from this. Then how to find sigma 1, sigma 2, that equations I have given, that you can find out from here. Then the planes on which they are acting. Again, after locating origin of plane, you can find out. And tau max also you can find out. All the things. On any plane, how to find normal tangential stress, then how to find principal stress, major and minor, and how to find major and minor principal planes, and how to find tau max. And the plane again, on which the tau max. All stress corresponds to a plane. Everything you can determine by this Mohr circle. How to draw the Mohr circle? I explained. This is very important. Suppose in a problem, they may not give straight shear stress. If they don't give shear stress, then the given state of stress itself is major, minor, principal stress. Suppose if they give only this, the same example, if they give 15, 40, no shear, then you just plot it, you will get just a Mohr circle like this. This is your point A, this is your point B, because no tau. Right? This is 50, normal. This is sigma axis, tau axis, tau is 0, this itself is your major principal stress, this itself is minor principal stress. Because this itself is sigma x, whatever sigma x is there, that itself is major principal stress. What is sigma y is there, that itself is minor principal stress. If no shear is acting, corresponding Mohr circle will be like this, because there is no shear to be plotted. So that straight away coincides with sigma 1, sigma 2, Mohr circle passes through that. And tau max, this is the one which gives you that formula, sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2, that is the maximum shear stress. That is obvious, radius of circle. Again, the plane, this itself is the origin of plane, because this is vertical, this is horizontal plane, this itself is origin of plane. So this is a plane of maximum shear stress, because when you have normal stress, shear also will be there on any plane within that. So you just get that plane. So this will be 45 degrees actually, that you can verify. So that is the maximum shear stress plane, like this at 45 degrees. This is at 45 degrees with vertical. So this is the plane on which the only shear stress will be acting, tau max will be acting. So when they give problem, only this, and they can give problem only with shear stress like this, no normal stress. This is also possible, because this is also two-dimensional state of stress. This is general two-dimensional state of stress, wherein normal tangential both are there, or normal shear both are there. Here only normal, here only shear. In this case, the Mohr circle will be just like that, tau max. Now see, this tau, this only we have to plot. This is one positive, another negative. So this is positive shear, this is negative shear, this side, and these two I have to take it, bisect it, draw origin. So this small circle will be exactly at origin itself, O. So this is the small circle for this. Here, maximum principal stress is this. Minimum also will be this. That you can find. So all these 3, 4 type of problem I told. One is this general, another only this, another only this. And here it may be both tensile or all may be compressive. So these are the type of problem you will get. State of stress, all compression or all tension, right? That is like this. Or with shear. Shear means one has to be positive, another has to be negative. Or only pure shear, because this is also in equilibrium. This equal to this counterclockwise, it balance perfectly in equilibrium. This also in equilibrium. This also in. You make sure this in equilibrium to start with, then you proceed. So with respect to this, we have completed two-dimensional status. I have given side by side the formula also in the beginning. So all the values, whatever you got here, you verify with your theoretical formula also. Right? If any doubt, you can contact.